When everything looks okay but feels off, this is where we talk about it all. Hey, friends, welcome to This Shit Can't Be It, where we have real, unfiltered conversations about rising through all the hard things, reclaiming our personal power. Here is where you get to feel seen, heard, get inspired, and even find tools to help your own healing and growth and evolution. You're in the right place. I'm your host, Anne, and today I'm diving into the illusion of seeking outside of yourself. Today I have Gavin with me, and he's been through it all. He's constantly looked for the things that he seeked outside of himself and realized it's all within us. The deeper seated meanings, the deeper healing, and all the answers come from within. Hi, Gavin.
Mhm.
Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
And hello, thank you for having me on your amazing podcast. Nice to be here.
Awesome. So let's dive right in. What has been the biggest belief system and the biggest challenge that you've had to overcome, and what kind of impact did that have on you?
Wow, you go right into it. Okay, so
We're going to cut
uh,
straight to the chase.
yeah, let's just get to the point. Let's get to what it's all about. Yeah, it's a big question. I think
It
it
is,
is a
yeah.
really big question. That's like a question about a journey. I think.
It is. And that's what I
Yeah,
want is your journey, because that's
yeah,
where their souls evolve.
yeah, yeah. Uh, I the big what's the biggest belief to overcome? It is self-belief. I was thinking about this. What is going to be the answer to this question? It is self-belief, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, believing in yourself. And the I spent years and years in mindset training, mindset school, life coaching. I'm a life coach. I'm a healer. And until I started to really dig into the inner work, because I was kind of doing lots of mental gymnastics with the mindset stuff and rethinking, identifying a thought and switching to a bad thought or switching to a positive thought. um, so since I've gotten into like the healing work over the last, well, it really started like 2.5 years ago, this healing part of my journey. And just really getting into it even deeper in the last 6 months is that these beliefs are trapped in our nervous system. The energy of the past is trapped in our nervous system. So the thing is to change the belief, you have to change what's fueling it. And that's the work I do,
Nice.
essentially. Yeah.
So what's some of the biggest challenges that you've had to overcome? Where was your biggest block coming from? And when did it start? A lot of us, it's childhood, right?
It's childhood, yeah. Uh, yeah, through so the healing work includes a lot of going like kind of reopening the past. Like that's how it's done to heal what's there, right? Because they're really the woundings of your inner child.
Yes.
Yeah, and the what I've started to really come to see and understand is that a lot of us didn't really get a good foundation growing up.
No, most of us don't. We're
Yeah,
given all the skills and the tools from our parents, who get it from their parents, who get it from their parents, and it's just ancestral patterns that get handed down the line.
yeah,
And
yeah.
you're right, it becomes challenging. So what was the biggest challenge that you experienced when it come to your childhood and then when you hit adulthood that you had to shake off, and how did that impact you?
Well, I was bullied pretty much every day for 10 years or
Wow.
more, like from the first day of school onwards. So it created like I became like really shy and introverted and withdrawn in this like self-protection kind of safety mechanism. And as a little kid, I had a really strong imagination. Like I was like in fantasy land the whole time. So what I've learned though is that if you were anyone who's watching who was kind of in that like really strong imagination fantasy, like that's an escape. That's an escape into saying, where, my your little life is too hard to be in. So that's one sign that there might be underlying patterns and emotions, and I will even use the word trauma here as well, that are
100%.
they're
Yeah.
there, right? And trauma has been described as like a black hole. Like it's there, but you can't see it. You can only see the effects and impacts of it. So yeah, so it was that withdrawn into myself, that shyness was one of the biggest things that I've had to overcome. So later in life, when I had to go for a job interview, I would have panic attacks. If I had to step up and do a talk like this, or any kind of presentation, or even like a presentation, like in school, like in grade 6 and 7, we used to have to do air bands, and I would skip that day. I failed airband class because I didn't show up. So,
Oh,
but it was just the fear. There was so much like fear holding me back, holding in. And so that played out in my professional life. Then when I launched my coaching business back in 2021, I went full time into that, quit my job to do that. I like froze. I couldn't, well, I couldn't build the business like I
yeah.
thought I would
Yeah.
and
I
should,
can
because
relate
I
to
had a
that.
goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like a freeze response.
Yeah.
So that's what I've had to overcome. And it's a process.
Yeah.
It's a healing
Yeah.
process. So there's a
Everything
lot there, a
is.
lot of
Yeah.
layers, right?
Yes. And it
Yeah.
starts so much with awareness. So I know for me, like I dive into hyper awareness when I do my coaching because that's that's where we have that impact. Like you say, the trauma, we have the
Hmm.
trauma, and that impacts us. We don't forget the details of that trauma, especially if it's a
Yeah.
single event. Some trauma happens over time, but if you have a single event where you've been in a car accident or you've been, abused as a child or sexually abused, physically abused, the mental abuse is more of that slow burn type of trauma. But when you have an instant
Yeah.
trauma, you can remember everything about that, the day, the smell, the weather, everything. And
Yes.
that's the hyper awareness. Like we don't forget that. So it's
Hmm.
being able to come into that hyper awareness when it comes to how we're functioning now is
Yeah.
key. And you said it best. So out of that experience, what kind of path did you go on? Like, take us on the journey of how that impacted you. What were your biggest emotions that you experienced during all of that, and what really manifested out of that and that
Mm.
starting that healing journey? Because I know for
Yeah.
myself, my healing journey started at the age of 23 when my mom passed away, but I didn't even recognize it as being a healing journey.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense. Uh, well, the journey, the healing part started for me back in 2012, and I had been single for 13 years, living in London in the UK as a young man,
Wow.
and yeah, so which was fun. And my friends used to say to me, Gavin, how come you haven't found anybody, right? You're not that ugly. That's what they would say. So uh, so eventually I went and I started thinking, yeah, what is going on here? So I hired a life coach, which is how it began. I went to a retreat for a weekend, helping gay men essentially look at why, like, to improve their lives. So I think with the gay men, a lot of times, like, relationships get really impacted because we didn't have role models growing up, so
Mm.
and then had to hide parts of ourselves through the process as well. So it's complex. But anyway, the through the work, I had an awakening experience, like a satori, what the Buddhists would call a satori, which is like you almost like pop out of your own usual brain or mind, and you
Yes.
suddenly see the
Wow.
truth of things for the very first time. And I started to realize, oh, I have beliefs about myself that aren't even true. And the belief that came up was that I was unlovable.
Oh, wow.
not deserving of love.
Mm.
And all the emotion came with that. So I cried for 3 days. It was like somebody had died.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really powerful. And the so what was it? It was the pain of like my 4-year-old self when he believed that about himself. That's what was reemerging. And that's what set me on the path to go like, wow, like we're so used to our own thinking
Mm.
and our thought processes and how we kind of see the world and we think that's how it is and that's
Right.
who we are or how we are. And yeah, it really started this whole journey and this whole process for me of going like it's like an awakening process. If I could summarize it in a word, really, it's like how do you awaken to yourself, your true self that's in there, you know? So,
Yeah, that's powerful.
yeah, it's
Wow.
amazing.
So, when did you realize you were gay?
Oh, good question. I think I always knew.
Okay. Yeah.
I always knew. I
Yeah.
was never not.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah,
But
I was
there's
never not.
because of the pressures though of society, like I grew up in we graduated in the early 90s. I'm going to date myself. I graduated in the early 90s and there were people in our class who were gay, but they would never talk about it because people got,
Yeah,
like you say, they got bullied back then.
yeah.
And we had one gentleman
Hmm.
in our class, like we all knew he was gay, but he didn't even realize he was gay. And I
Yeah,
was like, I remember having a conversation with him. I was like, when did you realize? And he's like, well, I did like girls growing up in school. He said, I was drawn to girls. He said, so it wasn't until he was much older. And I remember, and I was like, well, we all knew,
yeah,
but he suppressed it because of society.
yeah. Yeah, well, that was like the main reason for the bullying that I endured, and I think endure would be a good word uh, on a daily basis. So, but things have changed now,
Yes, thank God.
and that is good. That is a good thing.
Yeah.
And I know there's lots of politics and all that stuff around it, but you know what? I think ultimately, like, we need a more loving and empathic society where we see each other
Mm,
and you know, I think that's kind of the goal or the guiding principle, and the rest, whatever that looks like, will kind of naturally fall into place.
yeah. Yeah.
So
100%. And it's tough because like you say there's still and I'll call it racism. I hate
hmm.
labels, I really do. But just so people can relate, there's still a little bit of that around and I'm so naive to it because I don't see the labels. Like I don't see color, I don't see race, I don't see none of that stuff. So
Yeah,
for me, I just see people for who they are because at the end of the day, we all bleed. Like if we prick our fingers, we're gonna bleed.
yeah,
So we're all human beings regardless of what our preferences are in any facet. So I
hmm,
get naive to that sometimes. So I get a little bit I don't want to say ignorant, but it almost comes across as ignorant sometimes because I don't know what I don't know because I don't see that barrier. Like when I
yeah,
see you, I see a human being. I don't care what the preference is. I don't care what color the skin is. Like, I don't care the nationality. If we both speak the same language, then perfect. It's just if
yeah,
we don't speak the same language, then I can't communicate. But I don't
yeah,
like that. I don't see anything but that. So I can sometimes be a little bit naive to what you had to go through because society does box people and it's unfortunate.
yeah,
But yes, you're right. It is opening up more but it's tough, especially like you say, as a younger generation that didn't accept it as much as we do now. It was tough. Like I can't even fathom having to deal with that every day. Like
yeah,
that's rough.
yeah. Well, it caused like complex trauma essentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and just the thing about like what is trauma? Trauma is are like overwhelming emotional situations that you were in that you weren't able to fully process.
Mm,
And your nervous system comes in and it sort of shuts it down
and traps it.
and stores it for later.
Yeah.
So, uh, yeah, so anyone who's been kind of had a hard time of it, let me put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think there's also a really great like opportunity for healing and like like an awakening to who you really are at like your soul level.
Mm.
And yeah, because if you never had
Yeah.
any problems or had it all easy,
Yeah.
you would never need to look. You would never need to
Right.
do any of the inner work.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but everybody needs
And
to do it,
well,
I would
that's just
say.
it. We all
Or
have
yeah,
different traumas somewhere along the way. And, the belief system that people with money have it easy, they still have the same life traumas we have.
yeah, absolutely.
Like we
Yeah,
grew up in a
yeah,
society where, oh, the wealthy people get it so easy. It's like, no, they don't. They're still human. Money
yeah,
doesn't change who they are. They're still human
yeah,
beings. They still experience and potentially experienced a lot more different types of shit than what we experience. So,
yeah,
we're all
for sure.
human, and you're right. We all have traumas that hit us at different ways. So,
Yeah.
how did you embrace that and then turn it into a coaching business? Like that's a huge transformation, especially in 2021 when we're still kind of navigating that probably coming out of COVID at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I started my business when COVID started, so
Yeah.
2 days before or something. So it was like, sometimes I wish I'd have been earlier
Yeah.
because everybody went online at that time, right? So there was like a real shift in the whole, in the
Huge.
world and in the industry. So, sorry, what was the question? How did I shift at the
How did you
beginning?
navigate?
Sorry, repeat
Yeah,
the question.
navigate navigate the trauma into a business where you can help other people learn to thrive.
Uh, well, I went for training first to start with on how to do it, like how to do the work. Like I was called into this work, and I resisted it for a long time. All the coaches I had were like, mindset coaches or business coaches, and they didn't want to look at anything too dark,
I can
right?
relate.
They're like, or else they would say, get in and get out. Like, get in, have a look, and get out, right? So just don't go there, don't go there. And because it was always a don't go there, I always kind of felt like I'm always struggling to know what my niche is and clarify my message. And I spent like $200,000 investing in various programs, coaches, seminars. Like it goes on and on and on. And it wasn't until I discovered the healing work that I was like, oh, okay, because I need to work on myself as like, so my business has been here to show me what needs to heal. That's the
Nice.
insight. Yeah. So for anyone who's watching who has trying to get something going in their business or their purpose of some kind or something purpose driven that they're called to, but they're like, "Oh, I feel stuck." That tells you something's got to heal. Like your business is pointing it out. So in the work, we say the obstacle is the way.
Mm,
So
100%.
yeah, yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
my biggest problem has become the problem I solve essentially
Yeah.
for
Yeah, the
people.
solutions are in the challenges, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yes.
everything really is
Yes.
inside, like you said at the beginning.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And and I can relate, like I can relate. And I struggled with that in the corporate world because that's one thing I noticed, and I couldn't really articulate, so I never got what I wanted. So in the corporate
Hmm.
world, I would always say, like, yeah, you can give me all the strategy you want. I want personal development. They're like, well, what do you want to develop? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I just
My
need to
person.
grow. I need to grow internally. You're giving me all these skills and
Yeah,
strategy. Like, there's no more room for any more skills and strategies.
yeah,
And it's like I could feel that limitation of the skills and strategies only take you so far. The jump comes from within. And I didn't
yes.
know how to navigate or communicate that because I didn't know what I didn't know. I just, like you say, there's an inner burn, an inner knowing. And so
Hmm.
I would have the same conversations with my managers. And and I never got what I was after until I started paying for it myself and started figuring out the journey. And I tried to do it for free for as long as I can remember, and I call it the slow burn learn because it's
Oh,
painful. It's so painful trying to do it that way. But
DIY,
yeah.
DIY learning. Yeah,
So it wasn't until I started spending money on, like you say, the coaches and stuff that actually started doing some of that inner work that things started to, oh my, like the light bulbs, like you say, the light bulbs go off. And it's like,
yeah,
oh shit, that's what corporate's missing.
yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy.
Hmm. I
Yeah.
do know some people working in that space now that are like even my mentor, who's Thomas Hubel, very like spiritual man, spiritual leader, uh, goes into big corporations and works with the CEO on their healing.
Yes.
And he said that like one of the trauma symptoms is wanting to go faster. There's not enough. We got to go faster. So the CEO will be doing their healing, but the executive board is going, he needs to heal faster, right?
Yeah,
So that's another symptom of their own inner disconnection, you know. So
absolutely.
I thought it was
Yeah.
funny or amusing at
Yes.
least, and
Well,
illustrative.
I always say there's power in presence, and it took me a long time to figure out what that was and what it meant. I remember when I
Yeah.
first started on my healing journey, I started paying a monthly membership to a group. And
Mm-hmm.
actually, I'm from Nova Scotia, Canada,
Okay.
and I
All
live in
right. Good
Alberta,
to know.
Canada now. And during COVID, I got reconnected to a lady in Nova Scotia. So she used to sit
Mm.
back and laugh at me because she's very, like, very intuitive, very tapped in. And I'm like, teach me everything yesterday. And she's like, oh, and it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So, but she had to let me learn my process. And I would hear people talk about
Hmm.
embodiment and downloads, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what does embodiment mean? Like, I know what the word is, I know what it means, but I knew I wasn't catching it. I wasn't feeling it because really that's what it
Yeah.
boils down to.
Yeah. What
So,
does it mean? What does it mean to you? Even for somebody listening, because you hear it a
yes,
lot. So,
you do hear it a
what
lot.
does it mean to you?
And that's just it. It's hard to put into words because it's a feeling. It's when you embody something, you feel it at your core, like a goosebump core.
Hmm.
That to me is
Yeah.
embodiment. Like you said
Yeah.
something earlier and the goosebumps popped. That's embodiment. Yeah.
Yeah. I also think of it as, or understand it, and how I think about it. I understand it as like being in your body, like you're really here. And like you say, you really
Yes.
feel yourself. So, you know, we work with people also who want to achieve goals, and there's probably people watching this who want to achieve goals, or you hear about becoming like your new version or your upgraded version. It's an embodiment work that needs to, I think, be done in order to do that, to really embody this the person, but I think it requires self contact,
Mm.
like you're feeling yourself. So I have a mantra that I use or go to, which is here first, right? We kind of think like the answer is out there, or that it's out there. But the truth is, like, we literally host everything inside us, right? Within our nervous system, within our brain, within our body. Like, so we're not even seeing what's out there. We're actually seeing like what's in here. So when you start to realize, okay, everything I'm thinking and feeling, and even what's outside, I'm like hosting it inside myself. So the work I help people to do is to, through like meditation and like inner space exercises, which would be like kind of the first step, to create some space inside yourself so that you have a little bit of a distance between you and kind of what's happening or even how you're feeling. And then you can be at choice. You have more choice instead of
Yes.
being like so like reacting or tight, you know what I mean? So
Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. No, that's
Yeah.
powerful. So do you have a practice or a strategy that you could share with us that's something that's quick that somebody can do in a short period of time and actually have a little bit of a
Well,
transition or
Yeah.
transformation. Yeah.
It's a mindset practice, right? So what is mindset? What is a mindset or awareness practice? It is, in my understanding, it is like when your sensing and your awareness are one, like it's the same thing, right? So like imagine you're watching yourself cutting your carrots, but as you, because usually for cutting carrots we're thinking about something else, but to actually feel yourself like cutting the carrots and like practicing being really just present, like being more present. And that might be the simplest little exercise. Maybe it's too simple, but yeah, to like become more present, to become more aware. And the other thing I do in the morning is every morning is a 3 sync meditation where you sit down and you can even set your timer for 5 minutes or half an hour or 45 minutes, whatever, however long you want. But like the first thing to do is to sit there and feel your physical body.
You want to run us through it? I'll sit here and do it with you.
Oh, really? Okay, I will. All right.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah, so feel yourself sitting in your chair and feel your legs, feel your seat, feel your feet on the floor, and just notice it. Pay attention to it. And notice if there's parts of you that feel like more flowing. You can feel yourself in certain parts, maybe in your chest, legs, wherever. And just put your attention on the parts you can feel and feel that life energy flowing through you. And also just notice what you don't feel. If there's any parts of you that feel like numb, like you're like, oh, I don't feel anything there. And just include that as well. There's nothing to do, just to notice it and feel it. So just allow yourself to feel that as well. So the next thing is to bring your attention and awareness to your emotional state right now. What's here emotionally? Whether it's positive emotion, sad, there might even be something underneath the surface that if you just allow yourself to just settle and breathe, that just notice what emotion is there, and we welcome that and we include that as well. So continuing to breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. Just breathe longer on the exhale than the inhale. So finally, just notice your mental state. Is your mind calm? Are the thoughts flowing fast? Are your thoughts taking you away from right here, right now, and what's happening here? And finally, the invitation is to notice what notices. What's noticing? What is the presence that is noticing all that we have witnessed in this meditation? So when you're ready, you can open your eyes and come back.
That's awesome. I love
You're
meditation
awesome.
and breath work.
Again?
I
What?
love meditation and breath work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Forgot to
Oh,
mention the breathing right from the start. I was like, oh
yeah.
yeah, I forgot to say the breathing. So
Oh, yeah.
that's a breathing for anyone who's
Yes.
watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I noticed
Yeah.
too, like this is totally off topic, but I noticed my daughter and my husband more than myself, but they're when it comes to animals, because they are quiet people. Like my husband loves to go into the woods. That's his
Hmm.
downtime. And because they're so calm by nature and they love being by themselves, that nature responds to them in ways I don't see it responding to average people. Like even my
Oh.
husband, I have a video recording when we lived in St. Albert. There was this little bird that would come sit in the sun by the garage, but he was acting kind of weird. So I thought he might be sick. So every time I got within 5 feet of it, it would fly. Then it would come back and then it
Oh.
would just settle into the sun. So I went into the garage and I said to my husband, I said, "Can you come see if there's something wrong with this bird?" And something told me to record it because I knew I couldn't get within 5 feet of it. And sure enough, he slowly reaches down and touches it. I was like,
Oh.
"What?" And
Oh, really?
I
Oh,
have a
nice.
video because he's so calm and just
Yeah.
his nature. And she's the same way.
That's
So
beautiful.
it's really cool that like that presence that you talk about
Yeah.
goes to show you how powerful it can be when you really tap into it.
Yeah.
And that is something I had to that was probably one of my biggest hurdles because being in the corporate world and like you say that trauma response was go go go. That was me. Lived in chaos, overwhelmed, like the whole shebang, high stress
Yeah.
jobs every day. So I was constantly up in here. And it wasn't until I started this, like you say, this inner work, this inner healing,
Hmm.
that I heard Dr. Joe Dispenza say there's no such thing as a bad meditation. If your mind is busy,
Oh,
so be it, but bring
yeah.
it back to the breath. Like
Yeah.
let it flow. Took me, no word of a lie, Gavin, 2 years
Oh, wow.
to
Okay.
quiet my mind to the point where I could meditate and this would slow down and become present because it was always so busy. I didn't know how to turn it off. So I just
Yeah.
constantly listened to guided meditations, his meditations, other people's meditations,
Hmm.
sometimes just frequency. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to start going to bed at night with frequency. And
Okay.
I think that was probably my turning point of
Oh, wow.
learning to quiet my mind because it was just so busy and I didn't know what it meant to be in the present moment. I thought it was just like having this conversation. No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
having this conversation and really understanding the deeper meaning and just focused on this
Hmm.
conversation.
Yeah.
And the present people would say present moment and I'm like, you got me. I don't know
Yeah.
what it is. Educate me because I
Yeah.
didn't know. I had no clue.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
It can sound a
powerful.
bit abstract, I think, unless you're kind of in it, or like it's either maybe discounted as well, like, oh, doesn't matter, but
Yeah.
yeah, that presence and developing that is like if you get stuck, that like doing a presence practice allows you to kind of almost dissolve that fear, that stuck energy, and then
Yes.
you can get into action and do what you need to do and stop the overthinking.
Yeah.
Like it's the secret. It's a game changer. So I'm really
I
happy
agree.
to know this and be able to teach it and share it as well. So,
That's awesome. Yeah.
so
So
yeah,
just, yeah, this was awesome. Thank you so much, Gavin. And
yeah, you're welcome.
just to close out, like I would just want to let our listeners know that, you know, what we're talking about here today, it's all about not being where you are in your life and tapping into that aspect, that whether it be relationships, career, whether it be self-care, whether it be in your finances. It's like I call this wheel of life, and I actually created a document that allows you to physically look at it and label it. But that's constantly shifting and changing for us. I was working for a
Yeah.
living and then I lost my job, so that one dropped. So
Hmm.
being able to navigate that and understanding it is that's all within, not without. And
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
you said it so well, Gavin, that so many of us for so long we seek that love, we seek the attention, we seek the validation, we seek all the reflection. outside of us when it's really right here. And it
Yeah.
was there all along.
Yeah. It was there all along.
It was
For
always there.
real.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
always there.
It was always
Yeah.
there.
Amazing
Yeah.
once you
The answers
understand it, you
come
can
from
feel it.
within. Yeah.
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 Yeah,
And it's
absolutely.
funny because my business name came to me in a meditation when I was starting to learn to meditate. And when I first started to,
Oh,
like, it was like that year and a half to 2 year mark where my mind started to quiet. It's in that quiet, the answers start popping in. And the name dynamic living popped in, and I was like, what the hell? I was like, I
yeah.
had no idea what it meant.
Great
I
name.
just, yeah, I had no idea what it meant. I didn't love it. All I knew is that this is going to be a future business, but I didn't know what it even entailed or even looked like. And it probably took probably another 2 to 3 years before that even developed. And it was when I got it registered, I couldn't register dynamic living because it was
Oh,
already taken. And they wanted me to shift it all together. And I'm like, no, 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 no. The dynamic living has to stay. So I changed it to dynamic living lifestyles. And I thought, that's when I fell in love with it because I was like, this could embody anything and everything I create is going to be around living dynamically. So I
yeah.
said, this is perfect. That's when I fell in love with it. But it dropped in a meditation and I was like, what the hell? I had no
Yeah.
idea. I had no
It's
idea.
amazing.
Yeah. So it goes
Yeah.
to show what the quiet of the mind and how answers and information can come to you. You may not know what it means right away, but it'll evolve. It'll come in time. So Gavin,
Yeah.
thank you so much. I'm going to make sure
Thank
that
you.
your information is at the bottom of this video so that if any of our listeners want to be able to connect with you, they can. I so appreciate
Awesome.
all you brought to the table today. I love the meditation, so it'll be nice. And what I may even do if I can crop it, I'll crop out your meditation as well and just that piece and drop it
Okay.
in the description. So if people just want to pull that for a quick reference, they can do that as well.
Okay. Awesome.
Excellent.
All right. Great to be here. Thank you, Anne.
Thank you so
Appreciate it.
much.
All right.
Excellent. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Have a wonderful
Yeah.
day. And remember, breathe deep.